Good morning, people. Once again we're back here doing some work to the carburetor, the 600 Holley. I've been waiting for a part to come from the United States, which is a new power valve. It's just this fellow here. It's an 8.5, you might be able to see that written on it, 8.5. That's the correct one for this particular carburetor. You check the power valves by dividing the idling mixed vacuum of the motor in half, and that's where you buy your correct power valve for them. So if it's 16, you get an 8, right? That's the sort of thing you do. This one originally had a 5.5 in it, which you might be able to see here. I'll get it at the right angle for you. You see there's a 5.5. 5.5 is completely useless in this carburetor for the motor that's going on. It's far too low. The motor would stumble and carry on badly because it wouldn't be getting any fuel. So that's completely wrong for the camshaft, and it's a stock motor, so it only needs an 8.5 in it. I've cleaned out the metering block here. It's all been cleaned out. I'm using the original carburetor kit that's in it, except for a couple of places because it's just had a new kit put through it, and don't see any point in throwing those away. If it doesn't work, well, I can always pull it down and put the other ones in there at the time. Okay, the carburetor itself has been thoroughly cleaned. All those passages in here, you want to make sure that every single one of those is absolutely clear, and the same with the metering block on the. So some of them are so fine they're only a few thousandths of an inch, and if you've got a block on there, the carburetor is not going to work properly for you. The primary and secondary plate chambers have all been cleaned. I've checked the valves, the needle and seats in them, made sure they're right, and I've readjusted the flat levels to the correct level, which should be parallel here. It's pretty easy. I mean, any carburetor should have a level float when it's full of fuel. That's where they should be. You can measure them down, but usually if you set them at that, they're pretty good. This is adjustable with this screw here. Loosen that, and then you can take it up or down. And you check the fuel levels by taking this particular thing out with the car on idle. You take this fellow out here, and that's the one that you get the overflow from. It should be just level with it, and that's about it. If you do that with the car on idle, then your flat levels will be correct. This is something that's essential to be done, otherwise you'll be overfueling the car or underfueling, and that's not a very good idea either. So they're done at the present moment. They're ready to go back, and I can start to reassemble the carburetor here. I don't think I'll go through the process of reassembling it on camera. I don't see any point in that, because there's any amount of the available instructions available on the internet, where you can get any information that you want. And it's one of the very good things about it is that you can download those things. You can also download all the list values from Holley, which will give you the correct power valves to use on any carburetor. This is a 4650, even though the list number would mislead you about that. You might think it's a different model, but it's not. It's a 4650. It's a standard 600 with a secondary vacuum operation in it. Make sure that these throttle plates, here are correctly adjusted. Sometimes people put them in and they get them a little bit off in the centre here, and then they don't seat properly. This one's not seated properly here, so I'm going to have to readjust those until they actually sit where they should be, because it's all part of the tuning of the vehicle. When you've set the thing up properly, engines need to be fine-tuned, and you fine-tune the carburetor and get the mixture properly done. One of the best ways of getting an older car operating is to use a vacuum gauge on it. Very few people use vacuum gauges these days, but they're a great tool. What you're aiming for is the highest level the highest reading that's possible on a vacuum gauge on idle, and you do that by readjusting your mixture. And if you do your mixtures and your timing properly, you can reset the entire vehicle to get the absolute highest reading possible, which will be the most economical and the most powerful combination that you can have. Don't leave it at that. You can do things with the exhaust. You can upgrade the electrics in the cars, and that should be done as a matter of course anyway. Replace any points with electronic ignition, and try and put an MSD or some such thing on it to give you a really good spark, and it'll allow you to open up your spark gaps. Probably 5 thou, give you a much better spark. That'll make the car run better and more powerfully. It's an amazing how much difference that sort of thing makes, and then you fine tune the car according to all those different things, and you get your base timing right on the car, and you just keep altering it and moving it around until you get the highest possible reading, and then you set all your other adjustments to that, and you'll find you'll get vastly more fuel mileage. And as I've said before, make sure that you're not overfueling the car with having too high a pressure in your fuel system, because that's going to cause the float to be overfueled here, because the valves in here won't control it. Lever and seat won't control it, and they'll usually start to overfuel it around about 4 pounds per square inch. So start low, work up. The car starts to flood, back it off 1 until it settles down properly, and you should not have a problem with it. And you'll find that the car will run for a long period of time. It'll run extremely well. Your mixtures will be good, your emissions will be good, and your power will be up, and you should be able to get vastly more, especially out of the big American cars. They're very poorly adjusted in most cases, and in a lot of cases they're very poorly tuned, and when they're very old, 30 or more years old, you can absolutely bet that things have been done to them which are absolutely horrific, and you need to start at base and work on. Put a decent set of spark plugs in it, decent set of leads, make sure that all the electrical components in the distributor and the wires and everywhere else are all good, and the battery is properly grounded, that the motor's properly grounded so you're not getting a bleed off there. Keep the electrolysis down in the motor, particularly if you go to the stage of putting aluminium heads. You must make sure that you've got a good proper earth, and you should use your Mega to check in your by immersing in the water of the radiator, and see exactly what the value is that you're getting on that. Should be very, very low. Not quite sure what the proper setting for it is, but if you're not getting that, then you need to clean everything up, and that's something else that you can check out on the net too. Just go in and search for that, because better to do that and learn how to do these things yourself by researching them yourself, which is the sort of thing that I do at the present time. Even though I've spent a lifetime working on cars, there's a hell of a lot I don't know about them, and quite a lot I don't know about American vehicles, but I'm learning fast. Well, I'm going to reassemble this carburettor. That'll go up to my friend, and I've got another carby to do for him as well, a twin throat Weber, which he's going to put on his XY Falcon. And for all you overseas people looking at this, the basic rules apply. Be clean, be tidy, don't be careless, make sure that everything's working properly on your vehicle, get it tuned properly, make sure that it's in good working order. Keep your oils up, your fuel up, your filters up, and make sure that you do all those sorts of things, and you'll get vastly better and much more reliable operation out of your vehicle altogether. Well, that's all for the moment. I'll reassemble the carby now, and I'll give you some links on my blog site, which is restocad60plus.com or .com.au, and I'll give you the links to Holley to get all the list numbers. I'll give you the correct things. It'll tell you the right power valves to use for them. Use your common sense. You put a big valve, put a big cam in your motor. Half your idle vacuum is the power valve, and you'll find out information there about what to do. You can either go up or down with it. You can go 0.5 up if you want, or come down 0.5. It just depends. The motor may respond well, but power valves are cheap, you can change them if you need to, and they're not hard to do. Alright folks, well that for the present time is it. There's more stuff coming up about my 72 Cadillac, which I have, a big beast, 3-ton beast I have out in the back shed here. We're putting an HHO system on that, but I expect to do quite a number of very good things, but I'm going to modify the system because I've got a very strong desire not to blow myself to pieces with hydrogen because it's extraordinarily powerful fuel. More later. This is Fred saying goodbye for the day.